In 1932, Australia went to war with birds and lost twice. But believe it or not, that's not even the dumbest war on this list. Throughout history, humans have charged into battle over a stolen bucket, a loose pig, a soccer match. And one war so chaotic, an entire army managed to defeat itself without the enemy ever showing up. These are the 7 dumbest wars ever actually fought. And number 1 lasted less time than it takes to make a cup of coffee. Let's count them down. Number 7. The War of the Bucket. The year is 1325 in northern Italy. The cities of Modena and Bologna already despised each other. Then a group of Modenese soldiers snuck into Bologna in the dead of night and stole something truly priceless: a wooden bucket from a well. Bologna was so humiliated they demanded it back. Modena said no. So Bologna did the only reasonable thing and declared all-out war. They raised an army of over 30,000 men to recover one oak pail. The two sides clashed at the Battle of Zappolino, where as many as 2,000 people died, fighting over a bucket. And the winner? Modena. They kept the bucket. In fact, they still have it. To this very day, that exact bucket sits proudly on display in a tower in Modena, the world's least impressive war trophy. Number 6. The Pig War. 1859. A tiny island off the American coast, jointly occupied by Britain and the United States, 2 world superpowers awkwardly sharing one very small rock. One morning, an American farmer named Lyman Cutler found a pig happily eating potatoes in his garden. The pig belonged to a British company. Furious, Cutler grabbed his rifle and shot it. The British demanded he be arrested. The Americans refused. So both sides did what rational nations always do over a dead pig. They sent in the troops. Within weeks, hundreds of American soldiers and 5 British warships bristling with 70 cannons were staring each other down, fingers on triggers, ready to launch a war between 2 of the most powerful empires on Earth. The final death toll of the Pig War? 1 pig. Thankfully, cooler heads prevailed before a single human shot was ever fired. Number 5 isn't dumb. It's just absolutely glorious, and you need to know about it. Meet Wojtek, a soldier in the Polish army during World War II. He hauled crates of artillery shells. He loved beer and cigarettes, and he was a 6-foot-tall, 500-pound brown bear. Polish soldiers had adopted Wojtek as a tiny cub, but when their unit was shipped off to the front, the rules were clear. No pets, no mascots, no animals. So they did the only logical thing. They officially enlisted the bear. Wojtek was given a name, a rank, a serial number, and his very own army paybook, and he earned it. At the brutal Battle of Monte Cassino, Wojtek reportedly carried heavy crates of ammunition to the front line under fire, and according to his comrades, never dropped a single shell. After the war, he retired to a zoo in Scotland, where his old army buddies would visit and toss him cigarettes over the fence. A bear, with a military rank. Beat that. Number 4. The Battle of Karánsebes. The night an army went to war with itself. 1788, the Austrian army, tens of thousands of men strong, was marching through the dark to fight the Ottomans. As the story goes, a group of scouts bought barrels of schnapps from some local merchants and got thoroughly, gloriously drunk. When more soldiers turned up wanting a drink, an argument broke out. Then a shove. Then someone fired a shot, and someone else screamed that the enemy was attacking. In the pitch-black night, pure panic spread like wildfire. Soldiers started blasting at shadowy shapes all around them. Shapes that were, in fact, their own comrades. The army spoke a tangle of different languages, so orders were misheard, and entire units charged straight at each other. By sunrise, the mighty Austrian army had been completely routed by the Austrian army. And when the actual Ottoman forces strolled up 2 days later, they reportedly found the battlefield already covered in casualties, and simply walked in and took the town. The enemy never even had to fight. Number 3. The Football War. 1969. 2 neighboring nations, El Salvador and Honduras, were already simmering with deep tensions. And then fate drew them against each other in a series of matches to qualify for the World Cup. It was chaos. Fans brawled in the stands, riots erupted in the streets, and wounded national pride boiled completely over. Just days after the final whistle, the two countries severed all ties and went to war. A real one, with planes and tanks. For roughly 100 hours, bombs fell and armies clashed. By the time a ceasefire was finally brokered, thousands of people were dead. Now, the underlying tensions were genuine and complicated. But history will forever remember it by the spark that lit the fuse: a soccer game. It remains the only war ever named after a sport. Number 2. The Great Emu War. The war Australia lost to birds. 1932. After World War I, struggling Australian farmers had a new enemy: 20,000 emus stampeding across their farmland, devouring the crops. So the farmers called in the army. The military rolled out with soldiers and mounted machine guns, fully expecting a quick and easy slaughter. They could not have been more wrong. The emus turned out to be lightning fast, scattering in a dozen unpredictable directions and shrugging off bullets like feathery little tanks. One frustrated officer even claimed the birds had their own commanders, lookouts that watched for danger and warned the rest of the flock. After burning through thousands of rounds of ammunition for almost nothing, the soldiers eventually did the unthinkable. They gave up and withdrew. The emus had won. The army tried again weeks later. The emus won that one too. To this day, Australia stands officially 0-2 against large flightless birds. And number 1, the dumbest and quite literally the shortest war in all of human history. The Anglo-Zanzibar War. 1896. The British Empire had an arrangement over who was allowed to rule the island of Zanzibar. So when the old sultan suddenly died and a new one seized the throne without their approval, the British were not amused. They fired off an ultimatum: step down by 9 o'clock tomorrow morning or else. The defiant new sultan refused and barricaded himself inside his palace with nearly 3,000 defenders. At 2 minutes past 9, British warships opened fire. The palace was pounded into rubble almost instantly, and the Sultan bolted out the back door within minutes. By 38 minutes past 9, it was all over. The entire war, declared, fought, and won, had lasted just 38 minutes. Total British casualties? 1 single injured sailor. A war shorter than your lunch break, and, in our humble opinion, the dumbest one ever fought. But 7 wasn't nearly enough. Here are a few too dumb to ignore, but too short to rank. The Kettle War of 1784, a tense naval standoff that ended the instant a single cannonball struck a soup kettle. The terrified crew promptly surrendered. 1 kettle, 1 war, 0 glory. The War of Jenkins' Ear. Britain and Spain fought for years over an incident kicked off when a sea captain stormed into Parliament, holding his own severed, pickled ear in a jar. And the Whiskey War. For over 50 years, Canada and Denmark battled over a tiny barren rock by taking turns leaving each other bottles of booze. Canada left whiskey. Denmark left schnapps. It's the most polite war ever waged, and honestly, the blueprint for how every war should go. So there you have it. 7 times humanity picked up weapons and marched off to die over buckets, pigs, soccer games, and very angry birds. Which one do you think was the dumbest? Let me know down in the comments. And subscribe to Marker Mysteries before the human race finds a way to start an even dumber one.